What's going on, guys? It's Mr. Sutton back for part 2 for our decimal multiplication review. Today we're going to be looking more specifically at multiplying a decimal by another decimal. So the first problem I want us to work with is 1.4 times 2.5. And do your best to set this up with your decimals being underneath one another. Again, because I'm writing with my mouse, it's a little bit harder for me to make it as neat as I would like it to, but do my best. So I like to do a method with my students whenever I'm using two-digit multiplication called the bow tie method that helps just us stay organized. So with the bow tie method, you start with your bottom right number, which in this case would be our 5. And you want to construct a bow tie by multiplying. So first piece of our bow tie is 5 times 4, which is going to give us 20. So we take the first chunk of that, the first piece, our 0, and we put it down here, and then we move the 2 up to the top. And then we do our second piece of our bow tie by doing our 5 times our 1. Because remember, the goal is we want to multiply every piece by one another. So 5 times 1 is going to give us 5, but then we have to remember to add the 2 as well. So we're going to get 7. Next piece of the bow tie, we're going to be moving over place values. So now we're working with this 2. When you're multiplying numbers like this and when you're doing the standard algorithm, it's really important that you don't forget to add this 0 when you're shifting place values. This 0 lets us know that you're done multiplying this 5 and that you're moving over to the 2 now to start multiplying. You've done your remainder, you've finished it, you multiplied your 5 by everything. Now you're focusing on the 2. So our first step in the bow tie, 2 times 4 is going to give us 8. And then the last piece of our bow tie, let's do blue, is going to be 2 times 1. And we have no remainder to add, so that's going to just be 2. And then we can go through and add. As you guys can kind of see, there's like the little bow tie there. And so it's just a good way to keep track of all your steps when you're doing this algorithm. So now we can go through and add. 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 8 is going to be 15, so we have a 5. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is going to give us 3. But it doesn't make sense, right? If we think about 1.4 times 2.5, how did we get 350? So when you're multiplying by decimals, it's important to note that there are two numbers. We have our 4 and our 5 that are to the right of the decimal. So in our answer, we want that to be the same. We want our decimal to have two numbers to the right of it. So we're going to put our decimal right here because the 5 and the 0 are both to the right of it. So we'll practice that doing one more problem. Let's do 3.9 times 5.6. We're going to do the same method, this time just a little bit sped up. So 6 times 9 is going to give us 54. We bring the 4 down. 5 goes up. 6 times 3 is going to give us 18. 18 plus 5 will give us 23. Now again, because we're shifting place values, we want to add that 0 to signify that we're moving on to our 5. 5 times 9 is going to give us 45. Scratch off this other remainder because we're done with it, and put a new remainder, which is the 4. And then we're going to do 5 times 3, which will give us 15, plus 4, which gives us 19. And then we just go through and add. 4 plus 0 is 4, 5 plus 3 is 8, 9 plus 2 gives me 11, so I carry the 1. 1 plus 1 gives me 2. And we're going to do the same process with this one as we did as the last one. We have two numbers to the right of the decimal, so we put our decimal with two numbers to the right of it. So our final answer is 21.84. So for some additional practice, you can do 7.2 times 2.7. You can do 6.9 times 3.4. And you can do 4.2 times 0.7. Hopefully this helps. Take your time and practice. Remember to try drawing out your bow ties if that helps you. You can also think about it like in parts like we did in the last video, but just take your time because this is going to be really difficult. So make sure you practice and understand what you're doing now so you can be better for the future. See ya!